Hello, everybody. We're here today with Hugh Ross, one of the stars of the new Outlander season. Thank you so much, Hugh.
Hello.
And thank you so much again for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you here.
It's a
And
pleasure knowing you. Thank you.
tell us a bit, what's been the main element in Archbag's character and the show in general that fascinates you the most and drew you to join Outlander?
Well, I knew the series was happening, and I'd watched it a bit, and because I'm a Scot and love that kind of, I love Scottish history, and yeah, it just was a lovely job to be offered. Um, you have no expectations. You do a recording of a scene or whatever, and you then cross your fingers and hope the job happens. It
Yeah.
seemed like a really nice part, and judging from the books and everything. So yeah, that was it.
And have you ever read Diana Gabaldon's book before you joined the
No,
show,
no,
or
I no,
just
I
about
hadn't.
joining the show?
No, I hadn't read them. But when I got the job, I sent off for the three books in which Archbug's character was involved. Then this enormous parcel arrived, and I thought, what on earth is this? And they're very, very big books. They're 1,000 pages each.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh my goodness me. So then I kind of started dipping into them and reading them and trying to find out more about the story and the character and all that kind of thing.
Great. And one of the things that the audience loves the most about Outlander, besides its romance and drama and all that's around this show, is also how the characters, how well-rounded the characters are, and also relatable for some of the audience.
Yes.
So, in your opinion, on a personal level, was there any particular feature in Archibald's character that you can relate to? And where, in your opinion, are you and Arch more similar, and where are you two most different as human beings?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. Where are we similar? Um, well, I think Archibald is very kind of tenacious. He kind of sticks to his guns and goes for things that interest him and want him. And I kind of am quite tenacious as well. I'm a Taurian, and they're stubborn and they kind of you know. And what else? I think fundamentally he's a loyal person, and he's very true to his wife. He very much loves his wife, and yeah, I think he's basically an honourable person who's gets dealt a bad set of cards by fate, and things go wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. And I,
yeah.
I totally agree with you. And also, on the acting level instead, what's been for you the biggest challenge you experienced in portraying Archbug?
In the action department, well, no, nothing particular. I mean, he didn't have any hugely challenging stuff to do from the point of view of kind of shooting or fighting or stuff. Um, in fact, I mean, to start with, we weren't sure how the character was going to develop in the television version, whether or not it was going to stick absolutely to the books and things.
Yeah.
So to start with, we were kind of just around enjoying the family and kind of wondering if the storyline and of course the gold being the most important aspect of their storyline, whether that was all going to be developed. And it was very slowly developed until this particular this season now, where it's come into focus.
Yeah, in fact, personally, as a book reader, I was looking forward to seeing more of the gold issue. It's been like it should have been like dealt with in 2 seasons ago based on the books, and then they slowly built all these storylines with the bugs and the gold. And
Well, I
then
think it was,
in episode 3, we had the chance to finally learn more about all this issue.
yes, 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 quite. So it was a bit of a slow burn, as they say, and we weren't quite sure because I mean various things in the story in from the books did change, and uh, but we felt very much part of a big. It's like a big canvas, the whole family surrounding the Frasers, and people kind of come in and out of focus depending on how important they are to that particular part of the story. And it's very cleverly written and put together, I think, actually. And but I remember, I mean, when season 6 was launched, the producer saying, "Oh, you're going to be so excited about what's happening in season 7 because suddenly there's so much more to do." And in fact, that's what has happened. So that was really nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And in fact, with all this, the gold issue and everything, we had the chance to learn more about Archbug's nature and also his relationship with his wife, with Murdina Bug. And
Yeah.
so, what was your initial reaction to this storyline? And as you said before, you've read the books when you got cast into Outlander, but were you aware of the direction that your character's storyline will have taken when
But
you read?
only, as I say, only in this far. You're not, you don't get the scripts terribly far in advance. So it's always a bit of a, you kind of, you see that you're told that Archbug is in episode 6 or something, and then you wait for episode 6 and you kind of go turn the page and go, yes, 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 oh, no, no, yes, no. And then you hope that there's going to be a nice, twist to the story and you're going to have lots to do. And I got on very well with Sarah, who played my wife, and we have a lot of mutual friends and things. Scots are very good at kind of sticking together, and we know for years and years and years I've nipped up and down to Scotland to do jobs. So this was a treat to do this particular job.
That's beautiful. And how was it like for you also to film those scenes both with Sarah, of course, as you were saying, but also with Sam Yu and also John Bell,
Yep.
respectively?
Yes, well, John I didn't know at all, but he's a very good young actor, I think, and and he's a very entertaining. There's a very good company feeling about the whole show. Sam, I knew we had known for sort of 15 years, and I did a play in the theatre with him when he was very young. So I already knew Sam a bit, and so that was very nice to be reunited with him. And so that was great. And Sam and Katrina are both great to work with, very easy to work with, very open and friendly.
That's really beautiful to hear. Also
Yeah,
considering how not all the sets are like this, that you had the chance to create such a beautiful environment on set.
and that's absolutely true. And that was, I mean, the kind of the biggest plus of the whole job was that everybody from the lowliest, from the dressers to the kind of the wig people were wonderful. I mean, the makeup people, everybody, the whole unit. It's a very, very happy unit.
Great.
And I think that probably comes across in the work, that part of the reason that people are so keen on the thing is that you can tell that this kind of people are working in harmony.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. You can absolutely can tell of
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah,
And now in the season, we have seen that Archbug has warned young Ian that he will come back one day to get
yeah.
revenge for his wife, for his
Mhm.
wife's death. And what can we expect from the future, Archbug's future on Outlander? Will he see me again anytime soon, or we
Um,
have to patiently wait a bit more?
of course, I'm sworn to absolute secrecy about that. I can't
Yeah.
possibly tell you. But I think I think there's more to be found out, and more will happen, and you must just stick with the story and be surprised or not surprised, or excited or not excited, or disappointed or pleased, or anyway, it unravels. The story
Yeah.
will unravel.
Okay. And in general, talking in general about your experience on Outlander so far, is there any particular scene that you can call your favorite one to film so far on Outlander?
But I mean, the funeral scene was a big uh, testing, difficult scene because apart from anything else, it was the wettest day you can possibly imagine. It was absolutely pouring with rain, which for a funeral was very appropriate.
Yeah.
Um, uh, in fact, we weren't altogether sure we were even going to be able to film because the weather was so bad. but in the end, it sort of helped in a way, and it was an emotional day to play, and it was emotional for Sarah as well, kind of coming to the end of her story. Um, Unfortunately, we actually filmed the burial before we filmed the procession to the graveyard, and fortunately, it stopped raining at about 1 o'clock, and we got that happened in the afternoon. But yes, I was amazed when you look at it, and actually in the previous scene, in the scene when Archie explains about the gold,
Yeah.
you can actually see the rain coming off his hat, pouring off his hat. I mean, it was a very lot of rain, but the funeral scene was a great acting scene, lovely thing to do.
And the result was incredible. I can say
Good,
that after watching it, and the result was incredible, really.
good. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And now a little fun question that we always ask to the people we're interviewing. And considering we're talking about Outlander, it's on the Outlander universe.
Yes.
If you had the chance to choose any other character on the show apart from Archibald that you already play, a character that you would have loved to play if you could, which one would it be and why?
I don't know, but maybe it's because Mark Lewis Jones, who plays Tom Christie, is also an old friend of mine, and we did a series in Prague together about 15 something a long time ago, and I'm a good friend of his. But I thought he made that character really brilliantly rounded, and I thought in episode 4, which was on the other night, I thought
Yeah.
that scene with Claire was just fantastically good acting. And I thought that would be a nice part to play, because I mean, you think he's one thing, and he turns out to be quite a different kind of person.
Yeah.
Great,
It's
yeah,
quite like a nuanced character that it had
yes,
like initially it seems like a kind of person and then it turns out to be another one, as you said
exactly,
before. And
and that's
he
what made
plays it wonderfully.
much more interesting to do. So yes, so too old now, but it would quite I quite like to play Tom.
And throwing back instead to the origins of your career as an actor, how
Mhm.
did the passion for acting come about in your life?
Um, I'm a bit of a cliche from that point of view, because I think when I was very young, 7, 8, something like that, I went to a school that was very good for theatre. And first of all, there was a marvelous teacher who we did puppetry. We made puppets, and I had a puppet theatre when I was about 10, and did shows in my puppet theatre. Went to the cinema and the theatre as much as my family were very good about taking us to see things. And then in my teens, every year we did a Shakespeare production at school, and I'm a big passionate fond of Shakespeare and love Shakespeare and love doing Shakespeare, partly because of that, and played lots of. Before I was 18, I'd played lots of parts like Macbeth and Richard the Third and things. So I was already kind of stage struck, and but I was also quite good academically, and my parents said, "Oh, you can't possibly do something like that. You'll never make a living being an actor." Blah blah blah. So I was persuaded to go to university, but then I went to university and did more acting, and then dropped out, and then I went to drama school, and that was it. So it's always been kind of there, really. Yeah.
Okay. And among all these incredible projects that you had the chance to work on so far in your career, is there any particular one that you're mostly fond of? Even one of the first ones?
Um. Uh. Well, I'm very fond, partly because it's become a cult, but I did a horror film, Clive Barker's Nightbreed,
Yeah.
which was an enormous flop at the time, but has become this hugely successful. It's been re-edited, and there's been a director's cut and all that kind of thing. And the fans of that have been amazing. And that was a great part. And I'd known Clive Barker for a long time. and I was allowed to improvise a lot. And the part Narcisse was the most enormous fun to play because he was cheeky and rude and yeah, that had a bit more action to do. I had to run around a lot, but I was younger then. But I have a place, obviously a place in my heart for that because it was. I mean, I had an amazing makeup job. I had to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning to be. I don't know if you've ever seen the film or know anything about it. It's it was an extraordinary experience in lots of ways.
I can imagine that.
Yeah.
And speaking of the future instead, is there any new upcoming projects that you can share a little with us?
No, not really. There's a play that I might be going to do. I think I've just recently done a play in the theatre. Um, and I've just done a tape for a new series that I would love to get. So please keep your fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
And I'm also this week doing a what's called a rehearsed reading of a new play, which is a very interesting play. So there are sort of things, irons in the fire, as it were. But nothing. Watch this space, as they say.
So good luck with everything that's
Thank
coming.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
And our last question,
Mhm.
if you had to give some advice to those people among our readers that wants to pursue an acting career or a career in entertainment in general, may it be in writing or in producing and directing, what kind of advice would you give them based on your own experience?
I'd say it's a bloody hard job to. I mean, it's you have to be absolutely certain there's nothing else you would like to do. There are bound to be disappointments, even the most you know, there's rejection a lot, all that kind of thing. But as long as you're passionate about it and learn as much about it, see as much as you possibly can, um, and above all, the most important thing I think is not to be bitter about things. I mean, if say like the job I mentioned just now, that if I don't get that job, of course I'll be disappointed. But there's no point being bitter about it. It's just kind of that's the way the cookie crumbles. And bitterness is very, very unattractive. When people go, and it can make you go like that a bit sometimes because there's a lot of rejection. And but the good times are great, and Outlander was definitely. How lucky was I because I got the job just before lockdown and everything, and I
Mhm.
knew I was going to have a job when the lockdown was over. And so for 3 years of my life, it was the most wonderful gift, really. So very, very lucky.
Thank you so much, Hugh. It's been really a pleasure to have you here and to chat with you about your work.
No, Chandler, it's been very, very nice to meet you. Thank you very much.
And let's remind people that Outlander airs Fridays on Stars and Lionsgate Plus. And we can't wait to see if Archbug will ever come up again on screen or what's next for him.
Ah, wait and see. Is it very popular in Italy?
Yeah, it is quite popular, but there are people even that watched it in English without like the dubbage or something. So it's very, very popular.
So it's available in two versions, one with subtitles,
Yeah.
one is it,
Yeah,
and also is
first
it
with subtitles and then it with the dubbing.
okay? Okay, that must be fun. I'd like to see that.
Yeah,
Good.
thank you so much again for joining us.
Thank you very much indeed, and all the very
Bye.
best. Bye bye.
Bye.